You also talk about Oumuamua possibly being a light sail from another civilization. You mentioned in the book that it could be an alien light sail. Could you
Right.
describe for someone who's not familiar with light sail technology, because you work a lot with light sails with the Starshot initiative? What is a light sail? How does the technology around a light sail work? And what makes you think that a Muamua could possibly be of the same technology?
Right. So a light cell is very simple. It's just a film of material, very thin layer of material, which reflects light and therefore being pushed by reflecting light. Just like a sail on a boat is being pushed by reflecting air, by reflecting the wind. So light carries momentum. It can push something when it bounces off it. And if you make a thin enough layer of material, the reflection of light is sufficient to push it. And we are currently developing this technology in the context of, as you said, the Starshot project, which aims to visit the nearest star on a journey that would take a couple of decades. You know, the nearest star is
Hmm.
4.25 light years away. And so it takes light 4.25 years to get there. It's Proxima Centauri. And you know, they only got the results of the 2016 elections in February this year. Uh, and so it's
Yeah.
a long distance. And to get there in, let's say, 20 years within our lifetime requires a spacecraft that moves at a fifth of the speed of light. And that means 1,000 times faster than the chemical rockets that we've used before. A factor of 1,000 is huge. It's roughly the improvement in speed between Sputnik or all the spacecraft that we launched into space relative to the first car, the T car that Henry Ford invented.
Hmm.
A factor of 1,000 is a lot, and the question is how to achieve it. And the only way to get to a fraction of the speed of light is by using light to push on a sail, which can bring it, in principle, to the speed of light. So for example, in the context of Starshot, we are planning to use a very powerful laser beam focused on a sail that has roughly the size of a person, that weighs roughly 1 gram, and so that it will be pushed to a fifth
Wow.
of the speed of light within a few minutes. If the
So it's
laser
super
is
thin. It's super thin. The
yeah.
entire thing is the size of a person, and it's super thin, shaped like a sail. What is it made out of, or what are you
Well,
trying to
that's
make it
one
out
of
of?
the challenges we are working on, and there are several materials that are highly reflecting. You don't want to absorb more than one part in 100,000 of the laser power,
Hmm.
because otherwise it will burn up, it will heat up and burn up the sail. So you need a material that is highly reflective and also very strong in terms of material strength. And we identified a number of such materials. That's not a big challenge, actually. We already have some materials that can do it. The issue is really creating a powerful laser beam, you know, that is 100 gigawatt or so. That's a challenge in terms of the cost. You want to do it at a cost that is reasonable. And the other challenge that is quite substantial is communication. You know, once this spacecraft gets to the nearest star, 4 light years away, if it beams back the photograph that it takes of, let's say, a planet near Proxima
Hmm.
Centauri that is habitable, like Proxima b, there is such a planet, um, then the beam of the signal will get spread, and the signal will be very faint when it reaches Earth. And
Hmm.
we need just a big telescope that will be able to detect it. So that's a big challenge as well. And we're working on these issues of what we call the photon engine or the laser beam,
Hmm.
the sail, and the communication right now. And we want to figure out whether there are any showstoppers at this moment. And if there aren't any showstoppers, then we could move to the next phase, which is
Hmm.
a demonstration, a system that will demonstrate the
Hmm.
technology.
And the object, if it carries an object like a chip to record data or project something back to Earth, that would also have to be extremely light as well, because you mentioned it's
Right.
1 gram. So this wouldn't be for transporting large objects or people or anything like that.
Not at this point, if you want to get there in 20 years, but you can imagine bigger payloads that are pushed at a slower speed initially that could carry people with the same technology. You can imagine that. And in fact, if another civilization, for example, has a transport system between two planets like the Earth and Mars that is based on light sails, then we could then potentially detect the beam of light when it sweeps across our sky. That would appear as a flash of light that is leaking through the sail, and we could see it. So when two planets are along our line of sight, that's exactly when we would see that light beam. And it's something to look for, to search for such signals. That would be interesting. I should say this project, Starshot, is being funded right now by an entrepreneur from Silicon Valley, Yuri Milner. And we hope that it would lead to a future technology. And we're currently working on it. I'm the chair of the advisory board for this project.
Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. As a reminder, you can become a premium subscriber today. Watch the full, uncut, 2+ hour episodes of the Auxoro podcast, plus gain access to 2 bonus episodes every month at auxoro.supercast.tech. Link is also in the description. Thank you so much for supporting quality content from independent creators like myself. Cheers.